Hello, I'm Jill Webster and I'm here in Darug Country, New South Wales, Australia, with a story for World Storytelling Day 2024. It's called The Bridge of Eggshells. Once upon a time there was a king who sat upon his throne, getting more and more frustrated as the hours ticked by. You see, tomorrow he was going to give the order to his generals to set out for war, but today he had to endure an audience before the king. That one time a month where the common folk could come before him and petition him. Usually, people asked him for things. They asked him for favour. They asked him to repair a road or resolve a dispute. But today, the mood in the hall was strange and tense, and nobody asked him for anything at all. They just talked and talked and talked at him, all while he longed to be with his generals discussing tactics. They went on and on. The carpenter came in and talked about his two different pieces of wood that he could join together so that they held fast. The basket maker who came with a piece of cane and said that a single piece of cane was weak and flimsy, but together they wove together to make a strong and useful basket. He'd really had enough. The last straw was when a farmer stepped forward with a sack full of oats. "You better not waste my time," said the king. "What do you want?" "Well, it's not so much what I want, Your Majesty," said the farmer. "It's what I have. I have brought this sack of oats as a gift for you. And I would like to explain why these oats are so very, very good, Your Majesty. You see, years ago I got some good seeds from a foreign land and I had some extra, so I shared that with my neighbours. And so when the time came for the bees and other insects to pollinate the crops, well, there were many fields of strong, high-yielding oats for them to choose from. And so the seeds for the next season were good as well. And so on, until now we are known as the best oat-growing region in your whole kingdom. And it's because we shared amongst our neighbours. Your Majesty, it is better to be friends with your neighbours than enemies." Your Majesty? "How dare you," said the king. "How dare you come before me and presume that I'm interested in your local history story? How dare you presume that I want to be here talking oats when I should be off talking armies with my generals? How dare you waste my time? Guards, seize this man and take him and his sack of oats down to the dungeons. Give him 3 days down there to think before he comes before me again." The king looked around the room in fury. "You have all wasted my time today. This whole day has been nothing but a terrible waste, a terrible waste." Pah! There was a shriek from up the back of the hall, and a flutter and a small cloud of feathers and clucking, and a woman who held a bowl of eggs in one hand and a cake in the other stormed through the crowd towards the front. She stood before the king, surrounded by a little horde of very angry-looking chickens. And she said to him, "The only waste here is the terrible waste of war, Your Majesty. We have been trying to tell you, all of us, all day. You need to stop this war. War is the most terrible waste there is." The king was dumbfounded. But he realised in that moment that it was true. This whole irritating day had been filled with these common folk, one after the other, telling him to join with the neighbours and be strong together, to make friends, not enemies. He looked at them all. All of them wanted him to stop his war before it had even begun. And he looked at the woman surrounded by her angry chickens who glared at him as if to say, "Don't let these guards come by or we will attack them with our sharp beaks and our deadly claws. Bark, bark, bark." The woman herself seemed to realise that now she was at the front of the crowd by herself instead of up the back where she was more comfortable. She started to tremble. "The war will be a terrible waste, Your Majesty. Please stop." "This war is not a waste," said the king. "This is an important war. The boundaries between our two nations, it was defined by the course of a river. Now the river has changed course, but why am I explaining politics to you? You won't understand. But poverty you'll understand. If we do not go to war, there will be great poverty." "Your Majesty," said the woman, finding her courage as she spoke, "if you are so poor, I will bring you fresh eggs every day. If you are so poor that you need a war, you can have all of my chickens. Just give me back my sons. Don't send them to war, please." "No, you foolish woman. It is not my poverty. Look around you. I am not poor. This whole nation will struggle. There will be pressure. There will be dark and difficult days." "Your Majesty," said the woman, taking one egg. She clutched it tight in her hand and said, "We together can withstand great pressure." And she revealed that the egg was intact. "We can withstand hardship, Your Majesty, but we cannot withstand the crash and the terror of war. We can withstand dark days, Your Majesty, but not the famine that will surely come. When our crops are torched by soldiers as a tactic of war, when our children are far away and bleeding in foreign fields instead of helping us bring our harvests in. We can withstand difficult times, but not the pestilence that will surely follow as night follows day on a population weakened by grief and hunger. In peace, our children bring us joy and happiness. There is nourishment, there is growth. In war, Your Majesty, there is only death, destruction, and terrible waste. Our children's lives will be spent in fields far, far away. And the only nourishment they will provide will be to fertilise the crops of the enemy's grandchildren as they lie slain in the fields. Please, Your Majesty, you have the strength of our young. You have the wisdom of your advisors, and you have the coin in your treasury. Please use these things to build a bridge of peace, not to build an army for war. This peace you speak of, said the king, is very fragile. It is as fragile as your eggshells. And this bridge of peace will be like a bridge built on eggshells. Peace is fragile, said the woman. It's true. But it has its own strength, Your Majesty. Peace is something that can be built on. It takes effort. It takes care. But a bridge of peace, even one built on eggshells, Your Majesty, this bridge can allow for talks and discussion between neighbouring countries. It can allow the flow of trade and the riches that brings. It can allow for the flow of ideas, creativity and invention, Your Majesty. On this bridge of eggshells, there is a chance for us to find happiness, nourishment, and joy. There is hope in a bridge of eggshells, Your Majesty. In a war, there is only death and grief and destruction. My generals are waiting for me to command them. The army has gathered and is waiting for me. They are expecting me in the morning to issue the commands. Your Majesty, it's not only in a distant battlefield that a man can show courage and strength. There is courage in changing your mind. There is strength in convincing the people of change. I need time, said the king. Time to think. Your Majesty, the farmer came before you with the gift of his oats, and you returned the favour with the gift of 3 days in the dungeons. If 3 days to think is good enough for a humble farmer, surely a great king could have time to think as well. And so the great hall was cleared of people. The king kept one chicken to be a kind of pet and give him eggs for his breakfast. And he thought about courage and strength, about war and peace. And he realised that this woman's words were true. If he were to put all of his resources and energy into building war, he would have a great war, but that would result in only despair. If he put those resources, that energy and time, into building this bridge of peace, well, it was a beginning, at least, upon which nourishment and happiness might stand. It was the only once upon a time that had a chance to lead to a happily ever after. I hope you all have a wonderful World Storytelling Day. May you celebrate in peace. Cheers.